Welcome to another session of Business Startup Training. Today we'll be looking at the weather. This is presented by accounting lecturer. Our aim is to get a better understanding of weather and how it impacts a business startup. Our objectives are various weather conditions, seasons as it relates to a business startup, how does the weather impact a business, and then we're going to conclude. Now we know that there are various weather conditions. We have cold, and I'm assuming that you would know that when you have cold, it is very, very difficult for people to move around, and therefore that will impact a business. When you have snow, again, vehicles will be very difficult. Again, people only move unless it's an emergency, and so that would be quite challenging. When it's sleet, it's a bit slushy, again, and miserable and not necessarily comfortable to move around, and people will also do so if it's necessary. And in terms of rain, again, traffic conditions will be quite severe, more likely to have gridlock. Again, moving around will be very difficult, and it's more likely to impact a business severely. Now, in terms of season and a business startup, and it is important for us to note where in the world you're selling to and where your business is based. If you're looking at countries like New Zealand, their summer is from December to March, kind of anti what happens in the West and northern countries. Autumn is April to May, winter is June to August, and spring is September to November. So we see that's a totally different season to other places in the world. And then if we also consider United Kingdom and European countries, their winter is from December to February. Their autumn, or rather their spring, is from March to April, March to May rather. And their autumn, their summer, let's go to that next, is June, July, August. And then their autumn is September, October, November. So we see that's more of the traditional kind of situation. It is also important to note that countries that are in close to the equator do not have these seasons. So countries that tend to be on the northern part of the world will have these seasons, but in the middle they're more likely to have sun all around. And Canada and the North American region, they would have similar seasons in terms of the winter, spring, summer, and fall. So similar seasons with the West and the European countries. Now let's delve into what happens when a startup has the various seasons to cope with. Now it is important to do some planning, because you could have a situation where crop perishes due to drought. So proper irrigation needs to be put in place so that you do not have crop suffering due to adverse weather conditions as it relates to non-rainfall and situations along those lines. We could also have a situation where it snows and there's gridlock and traffic conditions, and that makes it a bit difficult to move around. So deliveries will be very difficult. So you need to make planning or put planning in place for that, for situations like those. And also rain, again, you're more likely to have a dry spell, or not a lot of people coming in. You might be having difficulties yourself getting into your business. So therefore it would be a struggle in that regard, but you need to put the planning in place. And then we can also have a situation where we have flood. Now if you have flooding, it's likely to cause damage to your inventory, which can result in severe financial loss if you do not have insurance. So as a business startup, it is important to put that financial risk provision in place, so that if you have adverse conditions to the degree where flooding takes place, it doesn't cause your business to go under. Now what can we conclude about weather? Various weather conditions can impact a business. We know that there are various seasons. countries in terms of Australia, New Zealand, and the southern part of the world tend to have a different season to countries in the northern part of the world, like Europe and North America. Countries in the equator, again, they have more sunlight, and therefore businesses will not be severely impacted by weather conditions. They may have long rainy seasons, but not necessarily snow and sleet in that regard. In terms of planning also, you need to put into place good logistics of ordering your supplies so that you can get them in time for the various seasons. So if it's winter season, you want to get supplies for winter way before winter starts. Summer, light clothing, you want to get that way before summer starts. Spring, you also want to get that as well. And autumn. So you want to get things way before so that you do not have them arrive when the season has ended, and which could cause losses, as you might need to hold them until the following season and they might become obsolete. So you need to put a lot of planning in place in terms of your business startup, looking at weather situations. I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.